Bienvenidos. Soy la Bruja Espinada, and I am here with a special pink full moon reading. So let's get started. Ooh, right off the back. What messages? Are needed at this time? Okay. So the first card that came out was the Four of Pentacles, followed by the Two of Pentacles, the Five of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the Devil, and the Ten of Cups. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Judgment. So let's get down to it. Now, clearly you've been working very hard to have some stability in your life, to find that balance financially, and you are actually coming to a crossroads where there needs to be a decision that is going to be made. Maybe you still have not been able to, rather, it feels as though you've been able to narrow down what it is that you will be using to ascertain your resources to have that stability that you've been working towards. But you still have to make a choice. This is the clear indicator that there is a choice that needs to be made, one that you still are on the fence about, that you don't know which way to lean, how to lean into, or which way to lean into it. In that choice, that you don't know which way to go, because you have two options, and it looks as though you've planned it out in your mind, as you've played out several scenarios, and that's what's being shown here. And luckily though, this not being able to decide, make that simple decision. I don't know why the word simple came out, but I feel like this is what's holding you back, is that you still haven't been able to fully lean into a decision one way or another. And I think though that so what I'm here to tell you is that if making the choice is what's holding you back from actually moving forward, that's a bad habit that you may have. That's why the Devil comes out. The Devil comes out usually when we have a vice that keeps us from our growth, that keeps us from really moving forward. That's why the Devil is here. Whether you're being tempted, either you're being tempted to, it can go one of two ways. You could be tempted with the opportunity of falling back to old patterns and behaviors that no longer serve you, but you're so used to them, you're so comfortable with them, that's what's keeping you from being able to move forward. You just have to make the choice that if you're going to move forward, you got to give up those vices. Also, the other way that this is leading towards is that it is a bad habit, that you spend too much time thinking about the choice that you never make one, and that is one of your bad habits. That is what prevents you from moving forward. And in order to move forward, to continue ascertaining what it is that you want, you need to overcome that bad habit, that vice of either what's taking you back into the past, whether it's because you keep thinking about the past, whether it's because you are too afraid to decide because you're playing out so many scenarios. Regardless, what this is trying to tell you is regardless of what choice you make, Not the vices one, not going back to the past, but as you're moving forward, the two different opportunities that are presented to you. What this is telling you, no matter which one you choose, you're going to ascertain abundance. And it's going to be for your, and this is also kind of showing you, it's for your, even your own emotional and mental well-being, because this is accompanied by the Queen of Cups. Someone who is aware of how much emotional healing that they needed, how much emotional healing they must go through and continue to work through. That's there. And what also comes out at the bottom is the Judgment card. Now look at her. Look at her little side eye. You know, this is looking one way. This one's looking at the other. That judgment is there. I think you're judging yourself too harshly. See, if you put them side by side, you kind of notice like this one is saying, oh, you know that's not right. And this one's like, well, that little smirk, if you could see it. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. And if you're afraid of what other people might think, the tea is that it's your life. So whether you choose to go back to your vices, you just know that you're not going to have any growth there. But if you overcome sitting there waiting to choose, and you finally make a choice, whether it's to the left or to the right, whether it's going this way or whether it's going that way, you will secure prosperity and abundance. So, Lady Fates, what lessons do you have for our watchers? What lessons do you have for our watchers? So, I hope you don't mind my scratchy voice. I had come down with the cold. I've been trying to fight it for over a week, and it just got worse over the weekend. We have power, and we have the pillars. So, power and the pillar. So power states, you're more powerful than you can imagine. This card serves as a reminder that within you lies an infinite well of power that you can source whenever you choose. Throughout our lives, we may have given our power to others or had it stripped away, but we always have the ability to call it back. And I think that's why it's important that it's actually coming out with the devil at this time. Sometimes we think that our vices are stronger than us, but it's up to you to decide to just finally reclaim your power and overcome that. To overcome what's been holding you back. And next we have the pillar. The pillar states, the pillar signifies a need to rise to the occasion. It indicates a time where we may need to be all things, the backbone, the nurturer, the provider, the lover. The pillar asks you to step into these roles as best you can. Knowing that you are being pushed outside of your comfort zone, you will learn just how capable you are. It is a time we take our gifts to new heights and learn that our perceived flaws are just that, perceived. If you have been resisting a new opportunity or role that has presented itself, it is time to step into it and trust that you will learn as you grow. This is a time where our container grows. We learn just how much space we can hold for ourselves and for others. Continue to listen to yourself. Fill your own cup so that you can be there for others, but do not forget to push yourself. Balanced pillar energy is being able to wear many hats to hold space for family and community, but doing these things with empowered boundaries, it's placing your personal well-being and the needs first, knowing that your service will be better because of it. An unbalanced pillar can go a couple of ways. In an attempt to maintain all control, one can get domineering and manipulative. On the other hand, they may find themselves becoming codependent, where their identity gets wrapped up in the need to caretake others while forgetting about themselves. If you find yourself in the shadow of a pillar, ask yourself, where can I soften? Where can I put up boundaries? Where are my personal needs? What are my personal needs? And how can I go about meeting those for myself? As I've stated before, I don't make this shit up. Ooh, Divine Mothers. Let me see. So what we have come out is first Inanna. She is the queen of heaven and earth. I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. Then we've had her before, Kali, the mother of the universe. I release all that doesn't serve me. It's time to be the truth of who I am. And we have Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is the Empress of Protection. I am safe and divinely protected. I am held in love at all times. It's like, well, there goes having a short reading. It always turns out this way. But when I open myself to ask what messages need to be heard, they make sure that I provide you with the messages that need to be heard. Inanna, who she is. Inanna represents the power that comes back to us when we accept and integrate our shadow. Inanna was the most prominent female deity in ancient Mesopotamia. At the height of her worship, around the Uruk period of 4000 to 2000 BCE, temples and shrines dedicated to Inanna line the Tigris and Euphrates River. Her name is Sumerian for Lady of Heaven. Her temples housed her priestesses, and they would each take a man to bed with them on the spring equinox to reenact the divine marriage, or Eros Gamos, between Inanna and her consort Dusmusi. The Helios Gamos is an ancient ritual of uniting the opposite from within, the male and the female, the light and the dark, and most especially heaven and earth. This theme occurs in accounts of Inanna's descent into the underworld to find her sister, Ereshkigal. She must take off an article of clothing at each of the 7 gates, so that when she finally reaches her sister, she is naked. And when Inanna ascends, she does so with Ereshkigal's power. When your soul selects her card, Inanna goes into the depths of her own unconscious to merge with her twin sister self. She becomes more powerful because she is no longer using conscious psychic energy to keep her shadow or negative attributes hidden deep underground. She courageously ascends and faces the aspects of herself that are hard to get to when she's fully dressed or cloaked heavily in the ego. Inanna is an invitation to get naked. She wants us to drop our defenses. She wants us to see how holy and sacred it is to be vulnerable. As above, so below. It is an alchemical adage that suggests heaven and earth are not so separate. It suggests that within us, deep down in the dark cages where we place parts of ourselves, the truths that exist, there also exist right here on the surface of our everyday lives. So, if we are exerting great amounts of energy to keep from seeing our shadow, it is actually playing a large role in our conscious life. When we can face what we think is dark or negative about us, I mean really embrace it and see it for what it is, a beautiful, broken place that's a call for love. Then we can merge more whole. We can marry the light and the dark aspects of our being. And in uniting with our twin sister from the depths, we can stop projecting her onto other women. We can see and own the hot mess we often are and not get sabotaged by it. The light must cast a shadow, and the high priestess is the one who gets called to love them both. So, the soul voice meditation is, can I love my shadow as much as my light? Remember the intention. I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. This makes a lot of sense. Now, because when the judgment comes out and the devil, and when we talk about, or when I spoke about there being a hindrance in making a choice and the stalemate, it's now making more sense that sometimes as we are trying to grow and as we are trying to shed our past and become something new, we hold a lot of judgment for the choices we made, the choices that we call mistakes. And we hold on to them and we say them, but we say them with a tone that's filled with disgust and anger, and it's not usually towards, and sometimes it's geared towards a person or people that might have harmed us or situations that were unfair done to us. But realistically, it's when it refers to the ego, is that anger that we hold towards ourselves, for ourselves, against ourselves, because we have that mentality of we should have known better. And we need to stop judging ourselves for when we were in a place where we didn't know better. You can be mad at that person, but you wouldn't be here today if you didn't go through that. And that's not a bad thing. So stop judging yourself so harshly. Moving on to Kali, the mother of the universe. I will only read about when your soul selects her card. Kali is as subtle as a sledgehammer. She shows up to strip us of what no longer serves us. And that sounds good in theory, but in practice, it can feel as if the ground beneath us has turned to sand. All those illusions about ourselves, especially what we think we are capable of, suddenly dissolve beneath us. When Kali sweeps in, we can easily slip into feeling like a victim. It can feel as though events are happening to us rather than for us. Kali doesn't want us to waste another precious second being someone we are not. She doesn't want us to be with a partner who doesn't treat us with respect and love. We need to do the light work we've come here to do. Kali wants to sever the ties our ego has made out of fear or out of a false belief that we don't deserve better or more. She wants us to get terrifyingly real. She wants us to reckon with the fact that we are not here to please others or make them proud. We are here to listen to the singular call of our own soul. Kali is the harbinger of having entered Karios, soul time. And stripping the ego to reveal, the soul can feel raw and often heartbreaking. But ultimately, Kali has come out of fierce love for the truth of who we really are. She's giving us the opportunity to choose again to start over, and this time from a place of tremendous wisdom and strength, our vulnerability. She lets us begin again from the bare bones truth of who we are. These two paired together with that power and this pillar, oh my goodness. The soul voice meditation. What is falling away from my life right now that no longer serves me? And remember the intention. I release all that doesn't serve me. It's time to be the truth of who I am. Now, isn't that a choice to make? Woo! Now, these emotions, all this emotions making so much more sense. Now, lastly, we have Our Lady of Guadalupe. My friends, were you being sent some messages today? Our Lady of Guadalupe, who she is. Our Lady of Guadalupe is the emblazoned emblem of the uniquely powerful protection of a mother's love. Her image is believed to have miraculously appeared within the tilma or cloak of Saint Juan Diego. She appeared to him 4 times, the first of which was on December 9th, 1531. She spoke to Juan in his native Nahuatl language and asked him to build a church in her honor. They were standing on the Tepeyac Hill outside Mexico City, where the Spanish had recently destroyed a temple to the mother goddess Tonantzin, an Aztec goddess of love. Juan Diego tried to convince the archbishop of the authenticity of the apparition, but to no avail. He asked Guadalupe to give him a sign that would help convince the archbishop of her identity. She appeared to Juan a final time and told him to collect the Castilian roses, not native in Mexico, that were in bloom at the top of Tepeyac Hill. He gathered the roses in his cloak, and when they fell before the bishop, they could see the emblem of Our Lady of Guadalupe inscribed on the inside of his cloak. Her image on Juan Diego's cloak has become Mexico's most popular religious and cultural symbol. It hangs above the altar of the Basilica of Guadalupe in Mexico City. The Basilica is the most visited Catholic pilgrimage site in the world and the world's 3rd most visited sacred site. Its preservation and its mysterious creation have been a fascination for scholars and art historians for centuries. It seems to be defying the laws of nature both by not decaying the way natural substance should, and by having been created in what seems to be one fell swoop rather than with multiple brushstrokes. Now this infamous image is worn as a symbol of protection from banners in the army during the Mexican War of Independence and on the backs of migrant workers to shield them from being whipped, to modern t-shirts and tattoos to protect devout Catholics and gang members with the exceptional love of the Divine Feminine. So when your soul selects her card, what is outside of us is also within us. Even if we have never experienced a mother's love, the true force of that loving protection exists within us, so we can give it to ourselves. When Saint Juan Diego was concerned that the archbishop would not believe him and was racing to meet Our Lady of Guadalupe, she appeared suddenly and said the most beloved phrase in the apparition story, a phrase that is inscribed on the entrance to her basilica. No estoy yo aquí, que soy tu madre. Am I not here, I who am your mother? The energy of a mother's love can travel to meet you anywhere, whether within the world or within your own heart. The message that she is here. You are mothered. But the message is also to ask you for what you need. Saint Juan Diego asked Our Lady of Guadalupe for a sign to prove her identity and existence. She gave him her image emblazoned inside his cloak, one that has been venerated and considered holy ever since because he asked for her assistance. We are emboldened with free will. The divine needs our request for assistance in order to enter our lives. All we need to do is assume the simplicity, the heart, and the humility of a child and ask for a sign that she is here. We will be met with more love than we could ever imagine. And love is always the greatest and most powerful energy for protection. The soul voice meditation is, do I experience the love of a divine mother within me? And remember the intention. I am safe and divinely protected. I am held in love at all times. Wow. Wow. Let me tell you, I thought it was odd that the word simple had slipped out of my mouth earlier because that was not a word that I wanted to use. And now it makes sense. It makes sense. Animal spirit guides. Well, thank you. We have the butterfly spirit that's come out. Transformation is beautiful. And boy, is this talking about a transformation, isn't it? My. You guys are being guided so well. Butterfly spirit. Joy and the beautiful lightness of being alive and creative in the world is the focus when butterfly spirit flutters before you. Transformation is inevitable as you grow into your most beautiful, empowered self. Indeed, you will go through some uncomfortable stages as you let go of the forms of your life that no longer fit the new you. Even relationships must go through shifts to match your new emerging self. If you focus on the beauty and not the challenges, stop taking yourself too seriously, and choose to be playful, loving, and joyous, you will soon know the miracle your soul wants to experience through you. Today is a day for joy. Sow a light. Look around and see the beauty that is everywhere and in everyone, including you. Transformation does not have to be as traumatic or dramatic as things may seem to be right now. Remember, change is the only true constant. When you resist it, you create a tension within you as you refuse to accept the inevitable. It is in this moment you might have forgotten the beauty and joy of life as it moves through the seasons as nature dictates. You're being faced with a choice now. You can struggle with the current conditions, refusing to surrender, and see through the lens of lack and loss. Or you can surrender to the grace that is calling you to allow life to take its course, moving through the sadness and disappointment. Surrender will soften you, inviting you to bask in gratitude and see through the lens of curiosity. These are the keys to tuning in to the infinite potential available to you now. Butterfly spirit knows the beauty and delight you are on the brink of discovering. Let go and trust that it is there for you. the tea is hot. So let us finish off with what is being attracted to you at this time. So this is the only one that came out, the only one that wants to come out. But I think it's so apt to everything we've discussed at this time. Love where you are. Appreciate current circumstances. Ask yourself why you want what you want. And see the beauty in it all. This is the major choice that's being presented to you. This is the choice that is being presented to you at this time. You have so much power to be able to change and overcome and grow from everything that you've been in. I'm telling you, you have to overcome that harsh judgment of beating yourself up. And love where you are. Because you are transforming, and transformation is beautiful. Well, this is your full moon message. I sincerely hope it helps, and I will see you guys next time.